Last summer, I spent 3 weeks traveling to visit my daughter. When I got home, I expected to find my garden half dead from neglect. The tomatoes were crispy. The lettuce had bolted. The beans had dried up on the vine. But in the back corner, my walking onions were thriving. My sea kale looked better than ever. My lovage was 6 feet tall and gorgeous. These plants didn't just survive my absence. They actually seemed happier. That's when it hit me. I've been babying the wrong plants. All these years, I've been growing vegetables that needed constant attention while ignoring the ones that practically grow themselves. Today, I'm sharing 13 forgotten vegetables that come back year after year, handle neglect better than constant care, and quietly feed you while you live your life. These aren't exotic. They're just old-fashioned plants that our grandparents knew worked. Number 4 literally walks across your garden, planting itself. And number 11 gives you leaves from early spring into fall without replanting. Welcome to Home Garden Fix, where we share gardening wisdom for folks who want real food without breaking their backs. I'm so glad you're here. Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt guilty because you couldn't keep up with your garden's demands? Drop a comment and tell me which vegetable gives you the most trouble, because what I'm sharing today might change everything. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We share practical solutions every week for gardeners who want gardens that work with them, not against them. I'm covering my top 7 in detail today, then quickly listing 6 more. Let's start with one that grows on beaches. Vegetable 1, sea kale. This isn't the curly kale from a store. It's a completely different plant that grows wild on windy European beaches. Think about that. Sand, stones, salt spray, and this plant thrives. If it can handle a beach, it can handle your backyard. Sea kale is a perennial. You plant it once, and it comes back for 10, 15, even 20 years. In early spring, it sends up thick pale shoots you can eat like asparagus. Later, it produces blue-green, leaves you cook like cabbage. 1 plant, 2 harvests, minimal work. It grows well in zones 5 through 8, so most of the northern and central U.S., parts of Canada, and the U.K. can grow it. Here's what makes it perfect for us. It doesn't need rich soil. It likes good drainage and sun, but once the roots are deep, you don't have to pamper it. A bit of compost once a year, some mulch around the base, and it's happy. If you have a week where you're tired or your joints ache and you can't get outside, sea kale just sits there waiting. No guilt, no death, just patience. The tricky part is starting. Sea kale can be slow from seed, but specialty nurseries sell root cuttings or small plants. Once established, it becomes that quiet friend who never complains. Vegetable 2, lovage. This is the plant that can save you money on celery for years. Lovage looks like celery that decided to grow 6 feet tall. The stems smell powerfully like fresh celery when you crush them. It's a perennial in zones 4 through 8. You plant 1 or 2 plants near your kitchen door. You water them while they settle in. After that, they mostly look after themselves. Throughout the season, you cut leaves for soups and stocks, young stems to use like strong celery, even seeds to dry as a spice. 1 plant gives you celery flavor for 8 months without replanting. For those of us watching budgets or who struggle with heavy grocery carts, lovage quietly takes one thing off the shopping list. You step outside, snip, and you're done. The flavor is strong, so you need less than you think. For an easy garden, that's perfect. Less cutting, less chopping, still lots of taste. And because it's so hardy, heat waves in August or early cold snaps in fall don't bother it. It's used to rough treatment. Vegetable 3, good King Henry. This old European leafy green was called the king of soil vegetables because you could plant it, walk away, and it would feed you for 10 to 20 years. It's a perennial that acts like spinach, but without the fragile personality. It grows in clumps, sending up soft arrow-shaped leaves you harvest again and again. The taste is mild and gentle, perfect for those of us who prefer comfort over sharp flavors. It grows well in zones 4 through 7, so colder and moderate areas. Plant it in a quiet corner with half sun or light shade. Give it average soil, maybe a bit of compost, and it comes back every spring ready to give leaves. In early spring, young shoots can even be cooked like asparagus. Later, leaves go into soups, stews, or lightly steamed dishes. Here's what makes it powerful. If life gets busy and you forget it for a week or two, it doesn't sulk. It just keeps growing. This plant rewards gentle, steady harvesting. The more often you snip a few leaves, the more it sends new ones. If your back or knees don't like long weeding sessions, mulch around a clump and let good King Henry simply sit there as a permanent low-effort green. Are you starting to see a pattern here? These plants don't need daily attention. They need you to plant them once and then mostly leave them alone. If that sounds like your kind of gardening, give this video a quick like and let me know in the comments which one you're most excited about. Vegetable 4, walking onions. This one's fun. They're called Egyptian walking onions or tree onions, and they literally walk across your garden. Here's how. They send up a stalk, and instead of flower, they form a cluster of small bulbs at the top. Those top bulbs get heavy, the stalk bends down, and the bulbs touch the soil, root, and grow into new plants. The onion walks across your garden one bend at a time. You plant them once, and over years, they slowly spread themselves without you bending, digging, or buying seed packets. They're cold-hardy in zones 3 through 9. Winter snow doesn't scare them. You can use the green tops like chives, the small bulbs at the base like tiny onions, or the top set bulbs to replant or cook. For those of us who want steady onion flavor without annual planting, walking onions are perfect. Create a little strip along a bed edge. Over years, they'll gently march along. You trim what you need for cooking and occasionally thin them if they get too thick. No seed starting. No precise planting dates. No bobbing. Even if you had a year where you were ill or traveling, you'd come home to onions waiting. Vegetable 5, Orach. Number 5, Orach. Most of us know this frustration. You sow spinach in spring. It looks good for about 5 minutes. Then the weather warms and it bolts straight up, bitter and done. Orach steps in and says, "Don't worry, I've got this." Orach is an old leafy vegetable grown long before modern spinach. It comes in green, red, or golden varieties with mild spinach-like taste. The big difference? Orach tolerates heat much better. Where spinach collapses in early summer, Orach keeps growing. For those of us in places with warm summers, this is a gift. Orach is usually grown as a self-seeding annual. You let some plants go to seed. They drop seeds into the soil. Next year, little Orach babies pop up where they feel comfortable. Instead of carefully sowing rows, you simply recognize seedlings, thin where there are too many, and leave the rest. Over a few years, your garden remembers Orach on its own. If your body doesn't enjoy rezoing greens every few weeks, Orach is like a self-replenishing salad bar. Vegetable 6, sea beet. This is the wild ancestor of modern beets and Swiss chard. It's the tough relative who works outdoors and never gets sick. In the wild, sea beet grows along European coasts in salty, windy conditions. That tells you everything about its toughness. In home gardens, it behaves like a hardy, long-lived, leafy green. In zones 5 through 9, it can act as a short-lived perennial or reseed regularly. The leaves are thick, glossy, deep green. The taste is like chard, mild and rich. Young leaves are excellent for salads. Older ones cook beautifully. Sea beet doesn't demand rich soil. It tolerates wind and some drought once roots are down. Because it has that wild origin, it's not as fragile as modern chard varieties that sulk at the first sign of stress. Plant it near a bed edge, mulch around it, and let it flower and seed. You'll often see new plants appearing over time. Thin them, move a few, and slowly turn that edge into a beet leaf bank you harvest for most of the year. If you've had slugs, choose spinach, heat kill lettuce, and cold damage delicate leaves. C. Beet is your steady worker who just keeps showing up. Véritable feu, patience stock. Number 7. Patience dock, sometimes called large sorrel. This is a big leafy green with natural sourness, like a larger, more generous cousin of garden sorrel. In zones 4 through 9, these can thrive in many areas. They handle cold winters once established and bounce back early in spring. You plant it once, and it gives leaves from early spring into fall. In rich soil, it's vigorous. In poor or compacted soil, it still pushes through better than delicate lettuce. The leaves have a gentle tang that wakes up soups and sauces. You don't need much. A handful chopped into potato dishes or omelets can replace squeezing a lemon. When you have a strong perennial flavor plant, you deepen your cooking without always buying fresh citrus. Choose a spot with sun or light shade. Plant your dock. Water it as it settles, then mulch. Every time you walk past, take a few outer leaves. It doesn't need constant rezoing or pinching flowers. If it gets big and wild, cut it back hard once and it regrows. One solid job done, standing instead of constant fiddly tasks on your knees. Quick list 8 to 13. Let me quickly cover 8 through 13. 8. Skirret, a gentle root crop that lives in clumps for years. Sweet, nutty flavor like carrots and parsnips mixed. Plant once, harvest some roots, leave the clump to regrow. 9. Salsify, also called oyster plant. Long, thin roots with mild, slightly sweet flavor. Slow growing, but perfect for late fall harvest when other beds are empty. 10. Oca, small Andean tubers in rainbow colors. Does most growing after first light frosts. Few pest problems, late season harvest. 11. Aluco, another ancient Andean tuber. Bright colored roots that stay firm when cooked. Escapes most pest attention, late fall harvest. 12. Cardoon, related to artichokes. Tall, striking plant with silver gray leaves. You eat the thick leaf stalks. Loves heat, takes care of itself once established. 13. Alexander's, the Roman survivor. Tastes like gentle celery parsley mix. Whole plant is useful, leaves, stems, seeds, roots. Self-seeds and maintains its own population. The vision. Imagine a garden with these 13 vegetables. See kale and lovage near the kitchen door. Good King Henry in the shady corner. Walking onions marching along a bed edge. Orach and C. beet self-seeding year after year. Patience dock for tangy leaves. And the Andean tubers quietly building roots in late fall. This isn't giving up on gardening. This is gardening smarter for this season of your life. These plants were built to help you do less work and still eat well. They don't need perfect soil, a young back, or daily attention. They suit real lives, especially if you're older, busy, or simply tired of fragile plants. The best part? Once you set them up, they become more generous over time. The opposite of annual vegetables that demand everything and then die. Friends, you've just discovered 13 old vegetables that grow like weeds, but feed like loyal friends. They're perfect for real gardens in the US, Canada, and the UK. Which one surprised you most? Drop a comment and tell me. And let me know your growing zone so I can help you choose the best ones for your area. If this vision of an easier, steadier garden speaks to you, hit that like button and share this with a friend who might need it. And subscribe to Home Garden Fix for more practical wisdom every week. Thanks for your time today. Until next time, keep growing, and remember that the best garden is one that loves you back. This is Home Garden Fix. Happy gardening, friends.